Welcome to the Alpine Church of Spiritual Living. Good to have you with us this morning. I am going to be reading the thought for the week, and if you're in the room, you can join me as I get down to the bottom in the bold area. Our theme this month is based on Ernest Holmes' book, This Thing Called Life, where he is equating the word or idea of life to God. Since God's spirit life is in and through all its creation, including, of course, everyone on the planet, it is up to each of us to become consciously aware of it so that we may reap its benefits. Remember what the fruits of the Spirit are? Galatians 5:22 reads, "But the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, self-control. There is no law against these. Let us therefore live in the Spirit and surrender to the Spirit." This Sunday's message is entitled Surrender to Self. All of us have our pure self, which is a capital, which indicates our spiritual self. And we also have a personal egoic self. It's sad to say that most of us reside in that small self throughout our lives. It takes intention, persistence, and discipline to bring our attention to our real self, our higher self, as some may call it. Throughout our daily life, we primarily think about, worry about, and deal with the physical things of life: what we will eat, what we will wear, who is in the headlines. Jesus said, "I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more important than food, and the body more important than clothes?" We do live in a material world that is created from the eternal spiritual realm. I ask you to set your priorities straight this week, coming week, and beyond. Let go, surrender, remove from your constant awareness your physical needs and wants, and instead focus on your true higher self that resides within your heart of hearts. Commune with it. Seek its direction. Feel the love that God, life, is giving you. As you accept and feel this love, let it color your vision to see that love in everyone and everything around you. Say with me, "I willingly and with great intent surrender, let go, release my thoughts and concerns of my physicality, and place my attention on the love that is giving me true life. I am grateful, and it is so." So I received my Alpine Sun newspaper yesterday. A lot of times it comes after Sunday, but I got it yesterday, and when I opened it up and looked at where they put the thought for the week, which was really nice, it was on the second page, but it said, "Surrender to self," and somebody in their divine editorial wisdom made my capitalized self a small self. Fortunately, they didn't change anything else throughout the whole article, the whole thought for the week. They left all the other capitalizations that I had in there correct, but I'm going to have a little discussion with them about fixing my things. When I capitalize something, I want it capitalized for a reason. So I want to make it clear from the beginning that what we are surrendering, what I mean by letting go, we are letting go of that false self, that small s, and we are surrendering to our higher self, our God self, with a capital S. On page 78 of Holmes' book's This Thing Called Life, he wrote, "Remember that the power is in you as you. It is itself as you. The more you live, the more completely it is expressed through you. The self-surrender necessary for a more complete outlet to this power is not a surrender of the individuality or the true self. It is merely a surrender of the false self to the true self." So that's what we're talking about today, is getting our attention back to the reality, the true self of what we are. And then on page 80, he continues on. He had just given us a example of a man who was having a situation that really required forgiveness. And he wrote, "What power lies in conscious forgiving? Peace rises from the depths of one's being when confusion, hate, and resentment are dissolved." Hate was what this man surrendered. We never have to surrender anything that really belongs to life. We surrender only that which is opposed to it. True life is love, energy, and expression. And that's what we are surrendering to. So this lesson that we are having this morning is steeped in oneness. That was one of the reasons why I chose the song that we had first thing this morning with "It Is Enough," Bethany's song. It is enough to be here in this majesty. It is enough to be one with God. That's enough just to be. But so many of us forget that, and we more likely concentrate on the things that we goof up on. We concentrate on this idea that, oh, I messed that up, I made that mistake, I'm unworthy of this. And that's not the truth. Yes, we will have instances in life where we did not get to do our best. But we can learn from it. We can recognize that, okay, that was something that I've learned from and I'm not going to do it again. I talked to Adeline, my 5-year-old granddaughter, and she was helping me last week when she was at the house. And we were cooking. We were making tabbouleh. I don't know if you know what that is, but and I had her. It's a Tupperware product that's got it's like what you used to make pancakes in the Tupperware, if you know what that is. It's got a handle on it and it's round and it's got an open top and you can stir in it really easily. And Adeline was oh, look at how good I'm stirring! Look at how good I'm stirring! And then she dropped it and the contents just spewed all across the floor and onto the stove and onto the refrigerator and. And everything. I'm sorry. I said, listen, I know you're sorry and that's okay, but I want you to learn from it. What happened? How did that happen? And can you learn from it so you don't do it again? I know I got it too close to the edge. Okay, then perfect. Then next time, don't let yourself get it too close to the edge. And it's exactly the same thing that Jesus was telling the woman. He says, you're healed, now go and sin no more. That means don't make the same mistake again. When you know that you've made the mistake, don't make it a second time. That's called the sinning. That's how we can learn from our mistakes. So Holmes was really right when he said, what power lies in conscious forgiveness? And that's what we are forgiving first and foremost ourselves for the mistakes that we've made, for the lessons that we need to learn to go through this life. We have to start with ourselves. If we don't forgive ourselves, we cannot forgive anyone else because you can't give what you don't have. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to love other people. So whatever it is that you want to express in this world that is your life, that capital L, that real self, RS, real self, needs to be developed within ourselves, internally. We need to accept the truth of what we are, that we are this love and expression. And I think that when we look at ourselves and we are gentle with ourselves, we're kind to ourselves, we're accepting that I goofed and I'm going to do better. I think that is a way for us to show compassion to ourselves, to give ourselves compassion. And again, you can't give it to anyone else if you don't do it to yourself first. And so I was reminded of this prayer that I say every morning as I'm doing my stretching. And part of it says, most merciful and compassionate God, give us thy great goodness. Teach us thy loving forgiveness. Raise us above the distinctions and differences that divide, and unite us all in thy perfect being. Now, one of the things that I don't like about that beautiful prayer is that it's like I'm begging or requesting something outside myself. And what I really love is the very last line, unite us all in perfect being, thy perfect being. We can say thy because thy is everything. God is all. And so unite us all in thy perfect being. So when I say that prayer, I feel the acceptance that I am compassionate, that I am forgiving, that I am raised above the distinctions and differences that divide, and that I am united, one with all, in perfect being. It just brings that wholeness, that allness to awareness, to acceptance, for me anyway. As I've been reading Richard Rohr's daily meditations this past week, he's been talking about letting go of the false self. I thought, well, that's a handy relative topic that he's got here. And he emphasized that as we develop our ego, that's our individual identity, that is a launching pad. We all need that ego, we all need that identity, but it's just the launching pad. And he wrote, when we are able to move beyond our separate or false self, as we are invited to do over the course of our lives, it will eventually feel as if we have lost nothing. In fact, it will feel like freedom and liberation. When we are connected to the whole, which is capitalized, we no longer need to project or defend the mere part. We no longer need to compare and compete. We are now connected to something inexhaustible. Raise us above the distinctions and differences that divide. We don't need to compare. We don't need to compete. Back in the day, I think it was in 2005, several of us took a class called the 5 Gifts class. And one of the assignments on 1 week was to say 100 times a day, I surrender to the power and presence of God within me. And Rita Harrington, the singer and songwriter, I must have taken that same class because she wrote a song about it. And I asked Peter if he could play that song for us now, and we used to sing it in here all the time, so if you remember it, join with me in singing this song because it's really the gist of what we're talking about today. To the power and the presence of God within me, I surrender to the power and the presence of God. I surrender to the power and the presence of God within me. I surrender to the power and the presence of God. Nowhere, no space, no pain can take love from me. Nowhere, no space, no place where God is not. Nowhere, no space, no pain can take love from me. Nowhere, no space, no place where God is not. I surrender to the power and the presence of God within me. I surrender to the power and the presence of God. I surrender to the power and the presence of God within me. I surrender to the power and the presence of God. Nowhere, no space, no thing can take this love from me. Nowhere, no space, no place where God is not. Nowhere, no place, no thing can take this love from me. Nowhere, no space, no place where God is not. 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 No place where love is not. No place where life is not. We need to begin with ourselves to know and to feel and accept our wholeness of life, of love, of joy, that it is what we are, so that it can color our vision to see beyond that knowingness, that acceptance to everything around us and everyone around us. Be love in expression and go out and have a fabulous day. Namaste.